Good evening everyone, Tim from Bozzy Garage here, and like many of you, I have an electric car, and like many of you, I've got an insurance notice, but I don't know how many of your insurances have doubled. Well, I know we're in a cost of living crisis right now, but doubling of car insurance, well, that's a pretty hard pill to swallow. I got this in the mail the other day, and my insurance has gone up from $1,518, it's doubled to $3,100. This is on a 2022 Tesla Model 3 rear-wheel drive, cheapest Tesla you can get. What I actually did, this quote was from Allianz. I actually went and looked up another car, I don't know, maybe roughly equivalent value, a petrol car, an ICE car. It's an Audi A3 sedan for, let's call it mid-60s, give or take really what I paid for my Model 3 a year ago. Anyway, I plugged that into the calculator on Allianz as well, and the quote we got on that car was $2,874. It's not really that far off the $3,100 I was quoted for my Model 3. So, I don't know, maybe that's just how much insurance costs nowadays. I went to a couple of these insurance comparison sites. Bear in mind, I do not actually recommend them. I actually recommend against them, but they're a good place to start, I guess. These comparison sites, I started with one called iSelect, and they actually do disclaim on their website that they don't cover all the insurers and the insurance might not be actually right for you, blah blah blah. One thing that they also say is that it doesn't cost you any more to buy your car insurance through an aggregator or comparison site like iSelect. You won't pay any more, but the company iSelect or Compare the Market, they will get a trailing commission or a referral bonus. Don't call it a kickback because it's not a kickback apparently. Plugging the details in of my Tesla into iSelect, the cheapest one I got there was $2,900, $2,972, $3,132. It just goes up from there. Virgin, Huddle, ING, Huddle again. I've never heard of Huddle, and if you're going to quote $5,000 for insurance on the Tesla, yeah, I'm not really surprised. I've never heard of them before. Don't think I'll be paying that kind of money for it. And notice that there's a relatively small number of insurers that they've got here. Budget comes up a couple of times, Huddle comes up a couple of times, so clearly they're limiting the offers to just these companies. It doesn't really get much better when you look at the next comparison site, Compare the Market. Same kind of thing, same insurers as well. As you can see, Budget Direct, Stellar, more or less the same prices, more than what I want to pay as well. Again, going down the list when we get to the last one, Huddle, $4,621 for a Tesla insurance. Yeah, not really interested in that. Tell you what though, at least they did actually give a quote, because there were a couple of companies that I tried directly on the website to get an insurance quote, and I got back from, let's say, Bingle, it looks like we can't give you a quote. This is because the value of your car. Really, is it the value of the car? I've had more expensive cars insured with Budget in the past, God knows why. I think it's that they choose not to insure your car. Another company that choose not to insure your car is Coles Insurance. On their website, it says, we are unable to offer you car insurance. Why? We are unable to offer you Coles car insurance as your particular situation falls outside our rules for providing insurance. Is that because it's a Tesla? Is it because there's a higher risk of Teslas getting crashed? Is it because they cost more to repair? Maybe a little bit of all of that. Anyway, let's see what happens next. I went to a few insurance sites directly after these ones which declined to give a quote. I went to Qantas Insurance. I like collecting Qantas points. And this one here, if you look at the screenshot, at the top it says you could earn 55,000 bonus points in your first year. Yeah, not bad. The actual quote for the insurance, $2,400. When you go to all these insurance sites, I tried to keep all my details more or less the same. For Qantas, it was with up to 8,000 kilometers a year driven, and yeah, that's pretty much the only sort of limitation on that particular site. Next one that I tried, Budget Direct, yeah, $3,000 again. What's the point? Not interested in that. Went to RACV, and the quote there, actually surprisingly a lot better than I thought it would be. RACV quoted $1,942 a year on a 2022 Tesla Model 3. What was the details on that? Yeah, no real limitations there, I think. So actually, yeah, not so bad. Certainly $1,000 less than what Allianz were quoting on my renewal. So far, RACV, you're in the lead. Going to another one, UE. I've never had a great experience with UE. They always, if you do call them, they will keep you on the phone as long as they can, talking about irrelevant things. Then they want all your details so they can give you a quote, which is way beyond anyone else. Again, no difference here. $3,078 from UE. No thanks. Going to the next one. Now, this is where we're getting somewhere interesting. GIO Insurance. I've actually got my Mercedes old CLK insured with them, third party only, for actually quite a good rate on third party. GIO, the quote that they gave me, if you look at the bottom left figure, $1,785, which is $100, $200 less than RACV. There was a couple of exclusions or limitations that I put on that to get that price. Up to 10,000 kilometers a year driven, insured for $62,300 agreed value, and with an excess of $1,500. So $1,800-ish, a little bit more than the $1,500-ish I was paying with Allianz for the last 12 months. A whole lot better than double the price anyway. So, you know, a lot of people will always ask on the forums and the groups, who are you insured with? Which one is the best one for you? Everyone is different, and the reason for that is many reasons. I'm not an actuary or a person who does all the sums for an insurance company, but I would say it comes down into two main groups: factors that you can change and factors that you can't change. So some of the factors that you can't change is, well, the car that you're insuring, unless you sell it and get another one. That's an option, but you're pretty much stuck with the car you got if you're getting an insurance. Whether you've got any modifications on your car. I've had some very heavily modified Japanese cars in the past, and yeah, they get quite difficult to insure, or you drive without the modifications insured. Anyway, no modifications on my Tesla. What else can affect your insurance quote? Suburb that the car is garaged in, suburb that the car is parked in during the day, whether the car's under finance or not. I'm not really sure how that affects insurance, but I'm pretty sure if you're financing your car, it is part of the finance agreement that you have to have at least comprehensive car insurance so that the insurance company get their money back in case you smash the car to bits. Whether you're a homeowner, some of the car insurance companies ask that. The main driver's age, of course, will make a big difference, and along with that, claim history of the main driver. If you've had a lot of at-fault accidents, it's going to cost you a lot more for insurance. No surprise there. And your driving history. Have you had car insurance comprehensively for the last 1 year, 3 years, 5 years? How many other cars have you got? If you have more than one, you might be driving this car less. And yeah, I've got more than one car. Now, there are some factors that you can actually change, which will and can have quite a dramatic effect on the premium, the price quoted on your car insurance. How far do you drive? If you say that you limit your car driving to 5,000k a year, well, you're probably less likely to get into an accident than someone going to drive 50,000k a year. So some of the car companies will actually have different tiers. You can nominate how far that you think you're going to drive in a particular year. Coming up to 12 months with my Tesla, I've only driven 6,500k in it because I have other cars to drive. So I'm quite happy with having a relatively low kilometer limit. 8,000 would be fine, 10,000 more than enough in my particular situation. Another factor that can change your premium is extra drivers. If you've only got one driver of the car and that driver has a very good driving history, well, you're probably going to pay a bit less. If you've got additional drivers who are maybe younger, maybe have had car accidents, maybe they're learner drivers, well, the risk of having an accident, of course, is going to go up. Now, the main factor which is actually going to affect your insurance premium is the excess that you nominate. Most of the time when insurers give you a quote, they will use their standard excess, which might be, I'm picking a number here, $800. Get into an accident which is your fault, and it will cost you $800 to get the accident sorted out. We're talking comprehensive insurance here only, not third party or anything like that. Now, if you raise the excess, the potential amount that you pay out in the event that you are at fault of a car accident, well, that will actually lower your premium. And the interesting thing is, by how much? So let's say you do adjust your excess, which you can certainly do. I went back to GIO, I plugged in the same old details, but I said this time, what if I raise my excess to $3,300? And that brought the premium down quite a long way down. It brought it down to $1,217.35. So quite a saving over the $3,000 that Allianz wanted to quote me on my renewal. That said, in the event there's an accident, which is my fault, then I would be liable for an excess of $3,300. I've been driving since 1995-ish, and in all those years I have been involved in a couple of accidents, none of which were my fault, so I have not ever had to pay in excess on any accident that I've been involved with. So, do I think this is a good idea? Well, yes, I do in my particular situation, given the fact I've never had to pay an excess in all my life, but I definitely do have to pay an insurance premium, regardless of whether I have an accident or not. I'm quite happy to have a large excess in order to have a low premium, and should I be involved in an accident, that's my fault. Well, it's on me. I rolled the dice. I'll have to pay that increased excess. So a couple of recommendations if you are shopping around for insurance. Maybe you can use those comparison sites like iSelect, Compare the Market, whatever, but be aware they'll only choose a few insurers, and only the insurers that will provide those websites a trailing commission or referral fee. Look around, try as many websites as you can. It does take you a few minutes per website to plug your details in. Play around particularly with things like reducing the age or the number of extra drivers you can have. If it's only you driving, or just say that maybe by eliminating any other driver, you will be paying less of a premium. And particularly the excess situation. If you've not had an fault accident in quite some time, and you're unlikely to, well, adjusting the excess could be certainly one way of reducing your premium and guaranteeing you a saving in your insurance policies. That's about it from me today. Oh, one more thing I forgot to say. When we insured Tina's new MG4, that was actually surprisingly cheap. I'm going to get the actual amount up here on the screen. I think it was a tick under $800, which is not bad for a brand new electric car. That was the MG4 Excite 51 in blue. I'm not looking forward to a renewal notice for that next year, but we'll deal with it in October 2024, I believe. That's about all I have to say on the topic for tonight. If you've got any comments, please add them in the comments below. Like and subscribe as per usual. I would always like ideas for more content. Time is a bit of a factor right now. We're only 4 weeks away from Christmas and I'm really busy, but yeah, love talking to you guys and listening to your feedback and chatting and providing more videos for you. Thanks a lot. My name's Tim from Bozu Garage. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.